What I'm about to show you in this video is gonna absolutely blow your mind. Sashiburi guys, what is happening? Vimal here, back with a new video, and I think this is one of the most expensive and most powerful gaming PC build we have ever done in 2025 guys. In fact, it is going to be my personal PC build guys that I'll be using daily for content creation gaming, and is going to replace my current existing setup in the background. Like, how cool is that? I'm pretty sure you people are also excited to know what sort of components, spec list and other stuff I've chosen, right? So we'll get there in a moment. First of all, let me tell you, to build this whole gaming PC concept and project, right, it roughly costed me around like 5 to 5.5 lakh rupees, and this is going to be like an all-rounder PC guys, not just for gaming purpose. Now, me being a content creator, I actually use PCs for content creation more than gaming, so it's going to be like an all-rounder guys, great for any sort of application workload you throw at it. Okay, so before we actually move on and talk about the whole spec list and components that I'll be using for my personal PC, to make this video more interesting, I've also arranged like a special giveaway in the video guys. So if this video crosses like 1000 likes, right, there's nothing you need to do, just simply make sure to like the video, and once it hits that 1000 likes milestone, I'll literally give this Noise Fit Shield smartwatch to a lucky subscriber on the channel guys. As I've told you, there is nothing you need to do, simply like and make sure to comment in the comment section down below, because I'll be randomly selecting the winner, right? So make sure to do that. First of all, let me tell you about the spec list and configuration for my PC. Choosing the CPU was quite a bit of confusion guys. I had so many options available in 2025 and I was a bit confused initially, like should I go for the regular CPU or should I go for a X3D variant of the chipset, but ultimately I've decided that I'll go for the regular series C chipset only guys, because as I've told you, gaming is not my main focus, content creation was. So that is the reason I've chosen AMD's top of the line Ryzen 9000 series CPU guys, Ryzen 9 9950X, which is based on their Zen 5 architecture 4nm process and comes with 16 cores, 32 threads, max boost clock of up to 5.7 GHz, and I'm telling you right, this is one heck of a beast CPU guys. No matter what sort of workload you throw at it, it's gonna handle it like a champ. I'll anyhow show you all the benchmarks, performance at a later part in the video once we get started with the build. Now pair this CPU with what sort of GPU? Obviously I'll be using all new RTX 50 series GPU only guys. That too, we have a special edition in the home. This one is from MSI. This is the RTX 5080 Vanguard SoC launch edition guys. I mean, look at this. You guys remember, right, during the day one launch of RTX 5080, this is the same GPU that I've unboxed and reviewed on the channel, and I'm telling you right, beautiful looking GPU along with like top tier performance guys. Keeping the GPU aside, now coming to the motherboard also, you know, we had so many models available in the market, and here also I was a bit in a dilemma which model to go for, but obviously since we're building like a top of the line flagship level gaming PC build, right, I didn't want it to compromise in the motherboard section. That is the reason I went for MSI's MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi gaming motherboard. Now Carbon series is personally one of my favorite guys. In my last PC build, also personal PC build, I went for the Carbon edition motherboard only. Either it be the looks, aesthetics, next gen connectivity, right, MSI doesn't compromise anything in this particular model. So on board you're getting like top tier build quality, 8-layer PCB with like 2 ounces of thickened copper tracks. Not to miss out, you're also getting like chunky block of heat sinks on the VRM and also the SSD area. Supports DDR5 RAM OC of up to 8400 MT per second. Last but not the least, you're also getting their easy DIY solution that makes building PCs quite easy for all the content creators out there. And also next gen connectivity includes Wi-Fi 7, USB 4.0 support as well, and PCI 5.0 support. Coming to the memory and storage part, obviously I'm gonna use like new gen components only. So we'll be going for DDR5 RAM, and this one is from Kingston. I'll be using their Fury Renegade DDR5, 48 GB guys, clocked at 7200 MT per second. And coming to the storage part, this is also from Kingston. In fact, this is a all new PCI Gen 5 SSD guys, the Fury Renegade G5, which can offer insanely fast read and write speeds of up to like 14,500 MB per second. That is like nuts, right? So my primary SSD is going to be like PCI Gen 5, but the remaining SSD that I'll be using will be Gen 4 only guys, because you know Gen 5 SSDs are like pretty expensive. So totally I'll be going for around like 5 TB of PCI NVMe Gen 5 and Gen 4 combination of SSDs for my build. Okay, keeping that aside, and let me also tell you about the cooling solution. Obviously Ryzen 9 9950X is like a flagship level killer CPU, right? So it obviously need like a powerful cooling solution to tame that monster. So here I'm going for Cooler Master's all-new Master Liquid 360 ion AIO liquid cooler, guys. This is Cooler Master's very first liquid cooler that literally comes with like a fully customizable LCD display on board. You're getting a 2.1-inch LCD screen that can show variety of information, real-time CPU GPU stats. You can even apply your own pictures, GIF files, video files, and fully customize the screen. Very cool, right? Okay, so what else is left? Just the case and the power supply, right? So both of these items are also from MSI. For the power supply, see, for this sort of configuration, right, ideally a 1000-watt power supply would be plenty, guys, would be like easily gets your job done. But I am going for 1250-watt power supply from MSI. This is their MAG A1250GL, guys, which is like a new Gen ATX 3.1 and PCI 5.1 ready power supply, 80 plus gold rated, Cybernetics 80 rated as well. And not to miss out, this also comes with a dual color 16-pin GPU cable and is also fully modular. The case we'll also be using is from MSI, guys. This is their MEG series 100R Pano PZ edition gaming PC case, guys. So that is pretty much it, guys. Our complete list of configuration and all the components that I'll be using for our PC build. And apart from this, I'm also going for some additional accessories like using extra fans on the bottom side, which you'll have to buy separately, and also an RGB GPU bracket as well to prevent the GPU from sagging. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get started with the build. And we are finally done with the build, and boys, here's how the end result looks like. Now it definitely took me some extra time for all the cable management, neatly organizing everything inside the cabinet, but well worth it, guys. I mean, check out the end result. Let me quickly power on this baby and show you how it looks like. Holy moly, now that is the kind of gaming PC I was hoping to show you all, guys. I mean, check it out. Absolutely gorgeous looking build, right? Total eye candy, guys. On board we are having like 10 RGB fans, and the whole RGB lighting is synced with MSI Mystic lighting, guys, fully controllable and looks very candlelicious. Check out the RGB components as well on the inside. Not to miss out that beautiful fully customizable 2.1-inch LCD display on the AIO cooler from Cooler Master. Just check out these beautiful cinematic shots, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hold on, wait a second. If you thought I'm just upgrading my gaming PC, well, you guys are in for a surprise. As you people can see, I also am upgrading my gaming monitor as well. Now this is one heck of a gaming monitor, guys. 34 inches ultra wide curved QD OLED gaming monitor, that too with up to 240 Hz refresh rate. And this one is from MSI. It's their MPG 341CQPX QD OLED gaming monitor. If you guys remember, I have actually unboxed unboxed and made a dedicated review as well, separate video on this particular monitor on our channel a couple of weeks back. So I'll be using the same monitor in my personal PC setup. And moving on, let's also talk about the gaming performance. How does this PC handle games? And I'm telling you, right, this PC can easily handle 4K gaming, that too with ray tracing. Plus, since we are using like brand new 50 series GPUs, right, obviously you're getting support for DLSS 4.0 and multi-frame generation as well. And we will be playing all of these games at 4K resolution maximum graphics preset. I mean, obviously 5080 guys, nobody is gonna be using this card for 1080p level gaming, right? Pretty basic, I would say. And we'll be doing different sort of tests. Like in the first clip, we might not be using any NVIDIA technologies because I want to show you the raw rasterization performance, right? Later we'll also include NVIDIA technologies like DLSS 4, multi-frame generation, and see what sort of improvements it will bring to the card. First of all, we've got our all-time favorite Cyberpunk 2077 running. We are playing this game at 4K resolution, and that too at very high graphics preset, everything maxed out. And in this first particular test, as I've told you, we're not using any NVIDIA technologies, no ray tracing, no DLSS 4.0, no frame generation as well. And as you people can see, on an average we were getting around like 60 to 65 FPS, which is pretty consistent, I would say guys. I mean, without any sort of upscaling or frame generation technology. Quickly enabling ray tracing at the same preset, keeping DLSS and FG off. Here are the results. Roughly we were getting around like 30 to 35 FPS. Not bad, I would say, considering ray tracing is pretty taxing on the GPU. But wait until you see when I enable DLSS 4.0 and multi-frame generation. So these are some brand new technologies introduced by NVIDIA alongside the 50 series launch. DLSS 4 brings something known as transformers model guys, which is completely different than your convolutional neural network. So previously on the older gen DLSS, right, maybe either DLSS 2 or DLSS 3, whenever you were using like performance or ultra performance profiles, we used to get a bit of artifacts, ghostings, or some sort of glitches when you're doing like fast movements in the game, right? So that has been greatly improved in the DLSS 4 transformer model. And multi-frame generation is an upgrade to the already existing frame generation. So previously frame generation technology used to artificially create like a single frame in between two adjacent frames, right? Now multi-frame generation is capable of producing 3 to 4 artificial frames in between adjacent frames guys in the game. So that greatly boosts the frame rate by up to 3 or 4 times depending on the preset you're choosing. Say suppose you have a 144 Hz or 180 Hz monitor, right? 3x would be better for you. Or maybe if you have like a 240 Hz monitor, right? 4x would be best for you. That will offer you like a consistent results. So right now set it to 3x multi-frame generation and bam, there you go. These are the results I was talking about. I mean, look at this guys. Where is your regular 60 to 70 FPS on an average? And that has been greatly improved to almost like 175 to 180 FPS on an average. That too with ray tracing enabled at 4K. Mind-blowing results is what I can say. I do agree they're all like AI generated fake frames, but still the smoothness that you're seeing on the monitor, right, it is definitely visible guys. I mean, you can feel it when you're playing, so that definitely works. Moving on to the next game, I've been eager to play this on PC guys, Spider-Man 2. We're also playing this game at 4K resolution, very high graphics preset, and in this first test all NVIDIA technologies like ray tracing, DLSS, frame generation, everything is turned off, and on an average we were getting around like 70 to 75 FPS. Pretty good results I would say, but wait until I enable ray tracing and DLSS 4 transformers model. So quickly enabling that, there you go. Now this is what I'm talking about. At 4K very high graphics preset in Spider-Man 2 we were getting around like 120 to 130 FPS guys. So all these benchmarks and gaming tests that you people are seeing were done at MSI's gaming OC profile, and the card can boost up to like 2800 MHz out of the box. But let me tell you what I found during my testing. This particular card, the RTX 5080, supports like insanely good overclocking guys. I'm not sure if that is the case with the regular Founders Edition 5080 or if that is happening only on this MSI's Vanguard Super OC edition, but I could easily overclock this card 200 to 300 MHz. That too, this was like a rough OC applied. I didn't get much time to spend with the card, right? So if I actually fine-tuned it, maybe I could have pushed it to like 400 MHz also, and the card was running like quite stable. I mean, look at this. In the previous test, right, we were running the card at 2800 megahertz core clock. Now in this particular test you can see that the card is hitting almost like 3000 megahertz also, and still running very stable at similar 4K very high preset. So let me show you what sort of performance improvement we will get. So in Cyberpunk 2077, OC clock frequency applied and playing at similar 4K very high graphics preset and multi-frame generation enabled, we were now getting almost like 235 to 240 FPS on an average. That is actually mind blowing, guys. I was totally not expecting this. So with the help of OC, we were getting around like 12 to 15 FPS higher frame rate, bringing it much closer to the RTX 4090 level of performance, guys, slightly just behind that. Similarly, in Horizon Forbidden West also, we were getting around like 10 to 15 FPS boost. I mean, look at this. We were getting an average of around 150 FPS. Previously, we were only getting around like 130 to 135 FPS, right? So we can actually squeeze out quite a bit of performance out of this card. And despite overclocking the card, thermals were actually quite stable. Even with the OC applied at around 3000 MHz, the card was running super stable and quite silent, with the maximum thermals reaching only around like 60-61 degrees centigrade, guys. And if you remove the OC, the card was fluctuating around like 57 to 58 degrees centigrade most of the time. MSI has done a really good job with the thermal solution on their Vanguard series. Very impressive, I would say. So that is pretty much it. Time to wrap it up. And before I do that, let me also quickly go through the pricing and tell you about the exact budget that I spent on this entire PC project, guys. So the total budget I spent only on the PC was around like 4,14,448 rupees. And if you add in the monitor cost as well, which is a 34 inches curved QD OLED 240Hz gaming monitor, that is 1,09,999 rupees. So if you want to build the same MSI theme entire gaming PC setup, right, it's going to roughly cost you around like 5,24,447 rupees. So that's it, guys. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video and got to check out this awesome gaming PC setup. I'll leave all the links for these products in the description box below. You can check it out there. Make sure to smash that like button, and I'll see you all in my next one.